Welcome to the best hour of their day podcast with your hosts, Jason Fernandez
and me, Jason Ackerman. With more than 20 years in the business,
as both coaches and affiliate owners,
our passion is to help create world-class affiliates
and coaches by building
better boxes. Welcome to
the best hour of your day.
She's back by popular demand. She goes by one name, Tefy.
That's it?
The Tefy. Two names, the Tefy.
That's all you need.
That's
La
it.
Tefy, if we're going to be speaking Spanish, technically.
Thank you for having me back, guys. Hola a todos. Gracias a todos por pedir que esté aquí. Very, very excited to be with you guys one more time and excited to see you back in the games as well.
Fern, why do you look confused? That was Spanish.
That's why I'm confused. I don't speak Spanish.
Do you speak Cuban?
That's also called Spanish. Yeah.
Growing up in a Cuban household, did you speak Spanish at all?
No, when I was younger, I understood it fairly well, though. Like I got to the point where I could like quasi follow conversations, but never really learned to speak it. It's still a point of contention.
That's how I feel currently.
You're angry with
English.
Yeah.
It's
still a point of contention with my parents that was like such a failed parenting. It's not hard. Like we should have just been speaking both right out of the gate.
Madison is in a Spanish-speaking school right now, and she's staying for extra Spanish lessons. In addition to that, she's going to learn Spanish. I'm excited for her.
You can always.
Man, I'm trying. As you get older, it's way harder. How old were you when you learned English, Tefy? Did you learn English as you were growing up as a kid?
Yeah, I was probably like 5 years old. Plus, Cancun is very much a touristic city, so everything is in English and Spanish.
Well, we're recording this a week before we go to the games. Tell us about your role this year at the games.
I'm going to be judging this year.
You're judging really this year?
I am, yeah. I'm excited. I haven't judged in a while, like at the game, so it's going to be really interesting to go back and just pick up where I left off. It's going to be fun.
When was the last time you judged? Do you remember?
At the games, I think it was
at least 4 or 5 years, probably.
Yeah. It's been a while. I've been at the games, but not as a judge. I was working for the EDU booth. I was working also for Dave, and just one thing to another, and as a country manager as well. So this time I was fortunate enough to go as a judge. So that's going to be fun, interesting, and I'm very excited. Are you guys going as judges?
No, I think that's why they brought you on, because we retired. They had to bring on, the next best thing.
They had to bring on
did you guys knew last year was going to be your last year?
Yeah, we originally last year we hadn't planned on judging, and then Boz asked us to judge. He's like, "Hey, we need you guys to judge." So we did. We ended up doing kind of both the affiliate stuff and judging. And then after we did that, I said, "We're never doing that again." It was cool. It was cool, but it was way too much, and it was really hard to do the mental switching.
Yeah.
From the judging going into, giving a talk or coach a class or do a podcast or something like that. It was really challenging. So no, we will be there doing all things inside of the Vendor Village affiliate gatherings, affiliate talks. We have a wild lineup for podcasts. I think we'll do more than 20 podcasts that week while we're there. So you
guys will be working, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
that's
nonstop. Awesome. But I'm excited, Fern, because judging is not easy. But it's not only is the judging aspect not easy; it's just very long days. So we've got a busy schedule, but we don't have to wake up at 5 a.m. every day. We
have more like a 9 to 5 schedule, but that 9 to 5 is going to be packed, which is fine. I don't care. But I'm also just excited to be able to actually go to the games and socialize. that week.
I mean,
Because
I
there's
think
so
that's
many people there, and we never see anybody till the party afterwards.
oh, you see them, but it's like a 10-second conversation. If you're not in the
Right.
podcast, just like, hey, how are you? But that's it. Like, that's, I think, all you need to just get lighted up for the next year to come. I think that's the best part of the games, just seeing everyone and just saying hi to everyone. And even if it's just for 10 seconds, how you doing is enough for the year.
Right.
I really recommend everyone that if you want to save for a trip, this is the trip to make.
Yeah, and for us too, we just have so many of our affiliate U clients going to be there. It's, we want to be able to hang out with them and spend time with them, which we never, last year was a lot of just in passing. We would see people where now we're going to we have our own booth this year. So yeah, we can hang out, swing by when you get a quick break for sure.
I will, for sure. Congratulations, you guys. That's awesome.
Thanks. Well, let's dig into some interesting topics with Tefy. What do you think, Fern?
What if I said no?
We could just keep rambling on. I'm fine with that too. But
We could
Cody,
talk about less interesting ones, though.
yeah, Cody, our producer extraordinaire, was in a little bit of a panic today. He's like, we don't have a topic for Tefy. Like, look, Fern and I can talk to anyone, but you get Tefy on here, people are just excited to hear. But let's. We've got four topics. Let's start with number one, Tefy. Cody's got your Instagram, so let me pull up up one of these pictures for myself. You they say imitation is the biggest form of flattery, right? And
the greatest form of flattery.
Is it really that specific? The quote?
Yeah. Well, if you're going to quote something, then say the quote right.
Imitation is the best form of flattery.
It is
close. So Tefy has a post with an iPad. I'm going to read it en español.
Por favor, a ver qué
tal. Invertir. Our au pair, whenever I try to speak Spanish, she just laughs. Because she's like, she always goes, you sound like an American speaking Spanish. And I'm always like, you sound like a Spanish person speaking English. So it's the same thing. But you just think it's
same,
but
different.
Yeah, exactly.
Invertir en tus coches es invertir en tu gimnasio.
Es la mejor inversión, definitivamente. Todo puede salir mal. I mean, this is the best investment. Everything could be wrong. Like no bathroom. If you have a bathroom, not a clean bathroom. Like if no one says hello to you at the gym, then okay. But if the trainers are good, then you have a business. So you have to invest in your trainers.
Let's do this for the non-Spanish speaking listeners. Translate what I just said.
Investing in your trainers is investing in your gym.
You stole that from me. Yeah.
You do, right? You have to invest in the trainers.
We of course agree.
So what does that does that mean? Unpack that. What does that mean? When you say investment, you could go off on a couple different ways, but when you think about that, when you say invest in your trainers, what does that mean to Tefy?
Yeah, so because I do get the chance to talk to a lot of affiliate owners here in Latin America, what I see that happens the most is that the owner is the one that is teaching most of the classes, which is okay, right? This is how I think back in the day, maybe for the US, but still pretty recently for Latin American countries, we like being trainers, and it's a low-cost investment as well. Low cost, still, I think, a little bit more pricey than it could be in the States just because rogue and the getting the shipment in and all of those things. It's a little bit of investment into it, but not as much as it would be having a global gym. So you like it, and then you start coaching, and then you have a gym, and then you coach on and off every single class. So you're going to get tired, you're not going to love it, and all of the other things that you need to make sure that are taking in place to have systems, you're not doing it because you're coaching all of the classes. And you begin to have a little bit of resentment towards the gym and maybe even the athletes, right? Why is this not working as I thought it would be? And then another trainer comes along and they're like, hey, I want an opportunity, could I help? I don't know. And then the owner is like, I don't know if I want them to help or I want them to give them all the tools, because they will eventually leave and create their own gym and take my people. So what they do is that they want to have the entire affiliate for themselves, and then it's a lot. It's a lot to handle. So that was what I was trying to transmit there. Like, hey, it's okay, right? It's okay to let go of the things that was useful for a little bit, and now you move on to other things and let other people also do the thing that they like with your help. And if they do want to go and open their gym, I mean, that's beautiful. That's what we did. Do it the best way possible, and that's it. I'll give you all the tools. And there's a lot of people in need. There's a lot of people sitting in the couch. There's a lot of people that do not move for the entire day. So we can do it. If you open right across the corner, I bet we can do amazing things together. But we tend to not see it that way. So hopefully we can move forward from that.
I was talking to I did a podcast earlier today with Mark England, who runs Enlifted, and Kimberly was talking about a lot of people can struggle with that scenario that you just outlined there, Tefy, because there are multiple identities that you would have as a gym owner. The first one would be a coach. The second one would be, it would be an athlete, and then a coach, and then a business owner. And a lot of people struggle to let go of the previous identity in order to move into the next one. And it's like how they talk, the way they behave, how they plan their day still resembles the previous identity. So like an example would be the number of box owners that are working out 2 hours a day. You're still identifying as the athlete when you are now the coach and the owner. Because that, now if you want to do that, that's fine. But if you're using it because that's how you still identify, which in a lot of instances is the case, now it becomes detrimental, and you can't actually like move into the new identity that you need to be in order to be successful at this next phase, whether it be a coach or an owner.
Yeah, it's interesting to me to hear that owners still do that. That it's like that's still a thing, right? It's like you're running a business. Like now granted, you should have free time, but it's still surprising to me that when you have 2 or 3 hours, and maybe it's not free time, maybe you should be working on the business, but it's shocking to me. But I think something you just touched on, Fern, that identity piece is huge. And I think a lot of owners, people in general, it's like struggle with that. And, when you realize like, oh, that isn't my identity, who am I? That's when it's challenging for people.
And it's also interesting because right now in Latin America, it's still very much impulsed by the sport of it. So if they are spending those 2 hours training, they're spending it with a competition group, which they go maybe to a good competition and they get the name out there and they get more people in the gym. So that's how they see it. Like, that's how they're going to win more people in.
Yeah, but it's not. It's not. And I love our clients to death, but sometimes, on our Monday call, we talk about wins, or on our calls, and they're like, we went to a competition. I'm like, that's cool. I get it. It's community building. But to me, it's not. It's very low down on the list of priorities.
Definitely, but it's also based on the culture, because the culture is not looking into the education piece. They're looking into still the sport. That's what gets their attention. So if they are smart, they might be using that, but it shouldn't be the only thing that you're using it. And if you are, like if you're spending those 2 hours to make sure that those athletes are competing and you're looking the part as well, because I've seen it going the other way around as well, right? I'm so invested in the gym now that I don't have time to work out or even eat well. It's like, well, you are the one that should be leading from the front. you have to make the time to eat well, to train, to spend some time with family, so on and so forth. So it goes both ways. I think the best way is to try all of them, make sure that you're measuring, and then you're basing on the end result. But most likely is going to be having a lot of athletes for the long term, right? Like you're going to keep them safe, you're going to give them results, and they're going to stay injury free or to the lightest degree for 10 years. And that's how you build a strong affiliate, because the other way around is not paying dividends. It's like we're going to this competition and it's been like that for 10 years and I'm struggling for 10 years. Like, well, you're doing something wrong. And if you keep doing the same things all over again without having a different result, that's the definition of insanity, right? So I don't
How do
know.
you say
Sometimes
insanity in Spanish?
it's a tough pillow to swallow, right?
Yeah. How do you say insanity in Spanish?
Es una locura.
Es por la locura. Es por la locura.
Sí, hacer lo mismo con resultados iguales.
Well, something you said that's really interesting is, they feel like they need to lead by example. And to me, that is not leading by example. To me, like you training 2 or 3 hours a day is not what would motivate me as a member. What would motivate me is you saying, like myself or Fern, I've got 2 kids, I've got a wife, I've got a business or a job, yet I still find time to eat well because that doesn't take me any more time. And I still find time to do something every day. And not only that, I rest on the weekends, spend time with like Fern's always reading books, right? Like that's more impressive to me. Like when Fern's like, I read a new book. Now I'd like for him to work out a little bit more, if I'm being fair. But I'm still.
Listen, did you do your frog deadlifts this week, Jay?
I've got 5 bulging discs in my back. I haven't talked about my MRI.
It sounds like a real big excuse, is what it sounds like.
No, but that was a big part of the identity thing. I had a call with Dave Robinson yesterday, one of Mark's, England's highest students, and that's what we were talking about. Like when your identity is like, well, I don't have the strongest squat on the best hour team anymore, right? Like, okay, who are you, right? But that's a big part of it. Like
you're nobody.
Yeah, I'm a nobody. I'm a nobody now. Young Katie's got a better squat than me. But it's interesting. Hey, I want to bring something up real quick for you guys. Let me show you guys this. Hold on. Talk to me about this, Tefy, would you? What is this?
A ver, ¿qué vemos?
Can you see the screen?
Todavía no, not yet. Now I can.
You don't see it?
Oh,
What is this? What is this picture?
Me doing muscle ups. I love muscle ups.
Are you naked during this muscle up?
I'm not. CrossFit
all right.
Gifted those to me.
Who gave you those?
CrossFit. Well, no.
CrossFit gave you these pants that specifically for this? Was this an advertisement or what?
A lot of people mention that, like, Tefy, I thought you were naked. I'm like, no, those are my pants. But that is funny. Now I see it.
You see it?
Yeah.
All right. This is,
play it. Look at how beautiful those bar muscle ups are.
I don't think I can get it to play. I think it's just a picture, but I'm
sure you just took
beautiful.
a screenshot of a video.
Yeah, somebody sent this to me. All right, let's pull up the next. Here's a great question. We coming up on the games. Oh, let me pull this up on the screen here. Let me show you this. This is interesting. I forgot you judged with us. I thought you were always doing the EDU booth.
No, I judged regionals, open announcements. And at the
here
games,
we go. Look at you.
Teams and individuals.
There you go.
Look at my good friend Becky.
Becky Harsh. She's in charge of what, like athletes now, right? She'll be there, I'm sure.
Yeah.
What does it mean to be a judge? And talk to us about some of the judging experiences you've had.
What does it mean? It's a great job to have. It's very interesting. You get to learn a lot about movement and programming as well. It's a really hard job because everything's on the line for even just like a split second, and you can change someone's life, either your athlete or someone else's, right?
Yeah, you shouldn't be able to, but I get what you're saying, right? Like, if you're changing their life as a result of judging,
You've not done a good job.
you probably, yeah, good or bad, right? It's like whether you gave them a rep that shouldn't have counted or taken a rep. I don't think Fern's ever done that. Have you, Tefy? Do you ever feel like you messed up?
No, because I've always had someone like close to me and making sure to confirm that I was making the right call when it came to that athlete not reaching the standard. Because I think the first time that I judged, it was teams, when teams were teams of six, which was like a whole
Oh, wow.
thing. They didn't move too
We're going back.
well, and they had a lot of drama in between. So it was pretty intense. And I remember at the games, Dave Castro watching me on the back end. And I was like, oh, Tefy, just don't lose count. You got this, you know. And I kept on counting.
Words of advice before you go judge. Hey, don't lose count.
Don't
Like,
lose
Roger,
count.
got it. Thanks.
And before that event, someone told me, like, it is or it isn't. That's it. Like, don't overthink it. And that was the
Right.
best advice I could ever had, because it was like, there's no doubt in my mind. I know. So it is or it isn't. And they do want to play in that line that it's also tricky, right? But as soon as you tell them no rep, they know exactly what to fix. So especially in the individual side. And now with the teams, right? Now the teams are also really on point with those stuff. But the individual side of it, they know exactly what you're no repping them for. And it's very interesting. But yeah, I had a couple of times when I remember regionals, ring dips, and it was when a lot of people blew like their arm, their biceps, and there was this guy that I've already judged the year before. He was a rookie back then. He was making it back, and I no rep him for a bunch of repetitions, so he couldn't finish the workout or the event, and he dropped dramatically. That was on a Saturday. On a Sunday, I was assisting Dave, and so he was greeting everyone, and he comes up to this athlete, and I'm standing in the back, and he's like, "Hey," remember my name. He was like, "Hey, Tefy, hey, if I pull this off in the next event, it will be the greatest comeback someone has made our regionals," or something like that. And I was like, "Well, good luck," because I don't know what to tell him. Like, I'm really sorry, right? Like, you're in that line, but well, you got this, you know. But I was on point. Like, what I was calling out, he was not completing the reps, and that was it. And on another occasion, same thing happened with me. It was a lunges, overhead walking lunges, and they were shuffling. So like, no, go back. And this was a big penalty because you had to go all the way back. And she started pouting. Then Todd Whitman came around. He's like, "What do you see?" And I'm like, "She's shuffling." He's like, "Good call." So I was like, "Okay." Same thing. Assisting Dave the next day. Came across, like, "Hey, done." It's just,
You-
we're in the same
you're not
team,
gonna
right?
assist-
Like, that's it. I'm on your team. You're like, if you do things the way you're supposed to, then here we go.
Right.
We're on the same team.
Right.
And I think that when athletes understand that, it's just really nice and it flows really well. But I understand that they're trying to be fast, and I understand this is their big moment within the year. So let's go.
You're not going to assist Dave this year? He didn't invite you?
No, I'm sad.
I'm curious what
But
he's like.
I'm
What
gonna say
his
something to him.
role is going to be.
Yeah, I thought so. Boz is doing the programming for this year, right?
I mean, yes, I would be shocked if Dave had no input, but
Sure.
yes. Yeah.
I like what I've seen so far for the programming. I think what have I seen? There's a 5K that everyone's doing, some version of Helen, and then
There's a Olympic total.
Olympic total. Yeah.
Yeah.
Noah would be cool. I thought maybe that was the direction they're going, is like a workout from every year's past.
How many years is it?
2007 to 22 would be right, because so like 15, 16. That's about the number of events.
That's about the number of events
Yeah.
they have over the course of a weekend.
Because all three of those have been done before. We know
Helen?
Yeah, Helen was done in 2010.
year?
They did like Pyramid Helen. because I remember Austin did it his first year that he went. It was like
Oh, I don't remember that.
it was
one.
like a 3 times Helen or something. It was like that a run. Like I want to say like 63 swings, 21 pull-ups for 3. It was just a long version of Helen on the
Got
track
it.
in Carson. And I don't think they've ever done like a strict Olympic lifting total, but they've done the ladders and 1 rep maxes before. So, different takes on some of those events.
I'm curious how they're gonna. I would imagine they're just gonna go. If the scoring is just going to be on total, or if they're going to get 3 scores out of that, meaning like, hey, how'd you do? Meaning like,
All 3 lifts.
Well, no, meaning, but like you would get 3 scores, meaning, so like in weightlifting, I can take gold in the snatch and then bomb out in the total, right? But I would still get that. So I'm curious if they're going to get just a total, or if they're going to give 3 different scores. So you would win the total, you would win the snatch, and then you would win the clean and jerk, and you would get 3 scores out of it.
Yeah,
Or if they're just going to
makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Right. That's why I'm curious.
Yeah. All right, Tefy.
Excited to see what's to come.
See what we got here. Si bueno. What's this?
Are you guys a little bit sad that you're not going to be judging?
No, not at all.
No.
No.
10 years is 10 years is enough.
Yeah. No, not at all. Can you see the screen here?
Yeah, I see it. Be good.
Tell me about this.
Be good.
What does it mean? Nice in the art of saying no. Yeah, be good.
Most of the times. Yeah, so I think it was on a Flow Master course seminar called Assume Positive Intent. So be good most of the time, because now if you've already had a conversation with that person and you've said the why behind it, and you ask maybe the why behind what they're doing as well, and they keep doing it. So now we need a serious conversation on it, which I thought we had, right? And this came across my mind because I have a lot of girls that ask me a lot of new trainers, right? How do I manage telling someone to bring the load down for maybe Fran or whatever workout, or maybe changing the movement to a progression instead of toes to bar knee raises? How do I tell someone if they don't want to receive that information? Well, how do you deal? And when I started teaching, I was like 21, 22 years old. So I was a female, very young age. So the first thing for me is assume positive intent. Now that I hear it back in my 30s, it makes total sense. It's like, it's not about me. Maybe something wrong with that person. So let me figure it out what it is. So when I remove myself from the situation, it's like, I mean, it's all you. But I cannot let you do this workout with this load, with this many errors, because now your risk has increased, and I am the one that is leading you, and I'm responsible for your safety. So if they don't understand that, now we have another challenge. Hey, either let's take those plates out of the bar and choose this weight, or you cannot come inside of my class. And if you want, I would really want to have a chat with you when I'm not in the class, so we can have a calm conversation. Right now I have to move on. And most of them, they're like, cool, like, hey, I understand where you're coming from, so I'll take them off. But at the beginning, they seem to struggle with it. So now I've found a different kind of approach. It's like, hey, you cannot do it with a 95-pound bar right now. But if you do it with a 75-pound bar and you get the weight on the heels and the hip before those arms extend, and you finish below 3 minutes, next time we will go RX. We will go a little bit heavier. Is that a deal? And now they're intrigued by this. So they're like, okay, if I can. And sometimes I feel like it's for them to shut me up, right? And if they do, then great. I celebrate them, because maybe I wasn't watching them or paying that close of attention. And you know what? You're right. Great job. Now, next time, we'll go a little bit heavier. So that's what it means, right? Like, be good and assume positive intent, but be firm as well. Like, your stuff. You are the one that is leading there. due to knowledge. And it's very easy to see good movement. And it's just as easy to see bad movement as well. So don't just cater to someone because you're afraid. Make sure that you know that you're educated and that you transmit that accurately. Maybe it's not during the class because it could get very heated, but after it, I just have a conversation about it. And that's pretty much what that post was about.
Well, and I think that's really solid advice, because a lot of times newer coaches especially, but you can be a veteran coach, and it's a challenging thing to do as a coach, to step in and be like, you can't go 95 or 65 in Fran or whatever the workout is. But you see that there's major mechanical errors, as we talk about in the technique lecture. Like, this is not threshold training, but in that moment might not be the best time to have that conversation or make the change. But like you said, I think Fern, I'm sure, has dealt with this in his Division I basketball career. After the game, after practice, your coach coming up and being like, this is what I was talking, like, we need to have this conversation, right?
Yeah.
Like, because Fern, you probably would not have been receptive to that feedback. Hey, I'm losing this game, shooting poorly. Like, I don't need you to tell me what, but afterwards, you're probably more open to it.
I think the good coaches understand when, like, there's a time and a place for both of those conversations on the floor, where, listen, I'm going to tell you something you don't want to hear because it needs to be fixed right now. We don't have time to wait till after the game so that we can talk about it, because we will end up losing the game, or in this instance, like, you might get hurt. So we're not going to go down that road. But then you have the more in-depth, the lengthier conversation afterwards. Like, here, let's unpack the problem. Here's what was going on, and here's why I was doing what I was doing. But sometimes in the heat of the moment, justification is not required. It's just do what I'm telling you to do.
Well, and we see that at level 1s and 2s all the time, because I don't know you well. This is one workout and you're going to hurt yourself. So I need to strip weight off the bar. And 99% of the time, that person's like, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, I do feel like most trainers feel intimidated by it. And it might be due a lack of education, or just like someone else leading them, right? Like, hey, you got this. No, you were correct. Like, yet they were pulling early because they're running the show sometimes on their own. So,
right.
Yeah, and athletes, I don't feel like a lot of them are very receptive, because if they come from the conventional gym, they teach you, if so, how to do the machine, or maybe the machine has the instructions in it. But if you're not paying a personal trainer, no one's telling you anything. And that happens as well in the gymnastics side of it. I was last year I was doing a little bit of gymnastics, like on the floor, on the ground, for adults, which was really interesting. I loved it. But my first trainer didn't correct me at all. Or if they correct me, he was like, keep your legs together. But I was working on something else that he had told me previously, or he waited for the longest time. So I do believe that for me, I've been 10 years inside of the walls of an affiliate. But for newer athletes, they're not used to receiving feedback. So when they do receive that feedback, and it's a trainer that is not very experienced and they lack the security in it, now they push back, because you're telling me that I'm doing something wrong, and no one maybe ever tells me. Because CrossFit right now here is for at least affiliates, for people that have businesses, right? So they're not ever told what they're doing wrong. So I do believe it's a hard situation sometimes to manage. But at the end of the day, athletes need to be a little bit more coachable, and the trainers need to be a little bit more firm on their decisions.
Yeah, and I think the challenge becomes, like you just said, the current stock of coaches has never seen someone do that. So now they're and they're intimidated to do it, and just like your original post about investing in your coaches, now they don't feel confident doing it because you've never done it, and maybe they don't have the support. So I go in, change someone's weight, they complain to the owner, or they no longer want to take my class. The owner yells at me, and now I'm like, well, I'll never do that again. But meanwhile, I was protecting your butt as the owner because that person was going to get hurt.
Definitely. And at the same time, I feel like now thinking about this as well is like be good most of the time. As a trainer, I do also hear like now I ran into some problems with the owner because I told someone to lower the weight. So now it's a matter of do you want to, why are you there? And do you see yourself being in another affiliate that aligns a little bit more with your values and your goals? So,
Yeah, that's one of the biggest challenges we hear from coaches is, I don't have the support of my owner when I'm trying to, it looks like many things, improve the, just the mechanics for the members, the programming as parts A through F, and I don't have time to coach. Like all of those little, things are, there's, these workouts are silly, and you need to have that support from the owner to make, the change has to start from the top there.
yeah.
Do you, are a lot of the same obstacles we see here, in the States happening in Latin America?
A ver, tell me some obstacles that you guys are facing.
Well, I mean, those are, many examples,
Well, there's a couple, right? So there's obviously the one of the big pain points within the affiliate space generally is exchange rates, so currency exchange, right? So obviously financial in Latin America, that's um, a big issue. Um, One of the other ones that I guess people kind of dealing with here is, at least from the gyms we deal with, is conflicts on programming and how coaches feel about programming versus how athletes feel about programming. I don't know. It sounds like Latin America is a much more competitive environment, so probably everybody's on board with more volume and training. But I don't know.
No wonder why they don't get to the games, right? Sorry, my fellow Latin Americans, but we need less volume and we need a little bit better movement. Yeah, so exchange rate for affiliation fees, yes, definitely. For equipment, yes, as well. And now you have to import it. So it's sometimes one rower, even in Mexico, which is not far away, it's like 2 or 3 times what it costs in the US. But there's a lot of gyms that use constantly varied functional movements executed at high intensity, like lots, because it works, right? And it works really,
Mhm.
really well for most people. One of the biggest things that I see is that we still treat this as our passion, but we don't allow it to grow in a bigger spectrum because we want to protect what we're doing, and if we have higher rates, these people won't be able to afford it. So I cannot have higher rates, so I cannot pay my trainers better, so I cannot change the equipment every year, every 2, every 3 years. Now I have a 10-year-old equipment and it's rusty and people don't want to pay more for it, so now I have to invest again. Where? Because the only thing that I'm getting paid for is my classes. So, and let's not even talk about the affiliate fee, right? Because sometimes now it's changing with the affiliate toolkit and the playbook. Those are amazing guidelines. But 3 years back, and for since however long we had CrossFit affiliates, it was something that the Latin American crowd thought of it last. And we have now gyms that have been working for 5, 6, 10 years that now are trying to affiliate. And that comes another problem. Now they have the name for 10 years, they love it, the members love it, but it's not available. Right? So it's not working backwards. Now it's a little bit better. Now with affiliate toolkit and all of those things, it's a no-brainer if you want to succeed. But just like common sense isn't as common for everyone, same is true with this, right? I can do it on my own. I see those guys doing it. They seem to be doing it well. Well, like you need, like, now it's a business. Back in the day, you were just like, okay, these are my friends, this is what I love doing, so let's just have a gym and affiliate if we can, and let's have as many people as we can in. But the lack of respect I feel that we have for our own field is what could be damaging for Latin Americans. How can we change our prices? The grandma won't be able to afford it. So, and they might be like, you don't know, right? Their situation is not your situation. This is the price you put. But if you put like $5 a little bit more, and then they see that for 5 years they have been healthy and they've improved some fitness marks, and now this is their community they're always hanging with, then maybe those 5 extra bucks, they wouldn't mind. So sometimes it's ourselves putting that upon us instead of just researching and really going for it and making sure that we're delivering the best product that we can. Because that's the other thing. If I raise my rates, that then it means something else is going to have to raise as well. And it can be equipment. It could be maybe something with the community, the facility. You're going to put AC on, or your trainers are going to be better. But now we've also have to meet the expectations with the same rate. So I think that's one of the biggest challenges, just taking ourselves and our profession seriously.
Yeah, I think that's honestly the same stuff that's going on in the States, right? Like a lot of what you said there about projecting your beliefs of money on others, right? And yeah, maybe you can't afford CrossFit, but that doesn't mean 100 members can. Like just because you think that's expensive, other people might think it's completely inexpensive. And also,
Worth it.
it's okay that it's a little expensive, right? Exactly, because it's worth it. Because I'll go over to the standard gym many days a week, and I see what's still going on in that gym, and I'm like, people are doing this. Like this is crazy. What still goes on and passes for exercise or training at a non CrossFit affiliate.
Yeah, definitely. So that's seriously one of the biggest challenges. But I think with what CrossFit is doing now, with CrossFit Latam and Instagram, you guys doing this good job that you do, I think things are changing. So we're just happy to see you leading from the front, and then eventually we can follow, because that's what it is, right? We're still a third world country. The barrier with language is still something to handle, as you guys were mentioning in the beginning. But what we are is that we are very encouraging people. Like if there's a will, there's a way. You can put a bridge, a wall. We'll make our way. We'll make it happen.
We are at the forefront, Fern.
Tip of the spear, they say.
Tip of the spear.
Yeah.
Tip of the spear. Well, Tefy, you've got the games coming up.
We got the games going up.
We've got the games. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we're going to be there less involved with the games, but you've got, you're a flow master, like you were saying. What else is going on in the world of Tefy as it relates to CrossFit and fitness?
I own my gym for the past 10 years. Really happy with
You're
it.
10-year affiliate now.
Yeah. It's been a while.
That's awesome.
I used to have one in Playa del Carmen with Fernando. You guys know him as well.
Yes.
But then I moved here. Happy to see also Homeless, which is the name of the gym, still rocking it. Recently, I had a trainers meeting for the trainers that were here in the area. We just gathered ourselves up and we did some drills that for the past 10 years I've used to develop my trainers. Pretty cool exercises. I'm more like a fun kind of gal. So I don't know if you guys have played the game like Guess Who's the Person Is, but now it's with fault. So guess the fault. And now we demonstrate, and they have to raise their hand, and we give them like verbal, visual, tactile. So little fun exercises that might not have to do even with like precisely the information, what is CrossFit and so on, but that has to do with seeing, teaching and correcting, which was really fun. And also, as you guys mentioned, right, like building that community is really important. So for us two trainers being together and just collecting ideas and working on our skills is really, really nourishing. Other than that, I started a podcast with Marta from Spain, also from the seminar staff. Yeah, it's been a while since we.
What's it called?
Constantemente Variadas.
Got it.
Yeah,
What's it
that's
about?
great.
Let me
No
guess.
brainer.
Got it.
But
What do you
yeah,
got? What do you think that means?
constantly varied.
Constantly
Yeah,
varied.
I was gonna get it. I was
Yeah,
gonna get that one.
really
So,
fun.
who's your co-host?
Marta Jurado, also from
I
staff.
don't, I don't think I've
Yeah,
met her.
she's in the Euroker. She's from Spain.
She's from
Cool. And
Spain.
how long?
She used to live here in Cancun. She was one of my trainers at the gym, and then she moved back home. But she is one of my bestest friends, and I've missed her so much that I was like, "Hey, we need to get together, so let's do a podcast." And she's like, "Okay."
What so clearly it's about CrossFit, but is there something specific that you like? Is there topics, or is it just anything about CrossFit?
Yeah, anything related to more like training. So that's pretty much what it will be about. Yeah.
Got it. That's cool.
It's on all podcast platforms. People can check it out.
Not right now, but it will be after the games.
All right, there we go. Well,
when this comes out.
If you need some English-speaking guests, you know who to come to.
Guys, I have a lot of things to request from you, but I'm waiting for the games so I can give you some treats as well.
Yeah, well, we've got a lot going on before the games. We've got a big launch coming up, Fern. We're super this Sunday, right? I mean, this will be out after, so people can hear about the knowledge.
The knowledge.
If
you don't sign up for it, you are a dummy.
Tefy, did you see that commercial with Fern and Pat Barber?
No, not yet.
Well, you got to go check it out. Very funny.
I saw the picture, but I couldn't hear it because I was like, this is going to be probably inappropriate, so I'm just going to need some AirPods on.
Smart. It was highly inappropriate, so that was a smart decision.
Love it.
Well, Tefy, always great catching up to you. I'm very excited to see you. Maybe we'll get you a little, in action live at the games. We'll try to grab you for 5 minutes. And yeah, we've got a lot coming up that you're going to be, we're going to request a lot from you too. So
guys,
be on the lookout for that.
I'm always happy to help, always happy to see you. And thank you so much for all that you're doing. See you soon.
You're the best. Thanks, Tefy.
Ciao a todos.
Thanks for checking out this episode of the Best Hour of Their Day podcast. We appreciate you listening and choosing to have us help you in your passion for coaching and affiliate ownership. You can find more episodes just like this on all podcast platforms. If you're interested in learning more, you can reach out to us on any social media platforms, or you can visit www.besthouroftheirday.com to book a call. If you found this episode helpful for you, please share it so that we can help other coaches and affiliate owners to help build a bigger and stronger CrossFit community. Thanks for listening.